What's going on, good people? How we doing? Happy Saturday to everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a good start to their weekend. Hopefully tomorrow's even better. But shout out to the 35 people already in the building. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. It'll let the algorithm know that we in the building, and it'll let other Giants fans know that we in the building as well. Before I start, let me know if the audio's good. Let me know if the visual is good. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know that I'm good. We got some things to talk about. We got the Combine. I might have to turn my TV off. You can see the reflection. I'm rewatching the Combine as we speak. You can see the reflection in it. Hopefully I don't get flagged for that. So, how's everybody doing, man? Again, shout out to all the people in the building early. Shout out to all the supporters, the day ones, the newcomers. Shout out to everybody, man. I'm so excited for football season to get started. I'm so excited for next week when the free agency gets started because I'm ready to see what these new New York Giants look like. I want to see what Harbaugh has in store. Let me go ahead and put my headphones on the right way. Get it out of my bed. Quick roll call for everybody. Got Tony Benino in the building. Actually, let me go ahead and put the chat up so you guys can see it in the corner. Tony in the building. He said, Dash, with the number 5 pick, who would you take, Styles or Downs, if both were available? I was so upset that Downs didn't run in the combine. He didn't do any of the drills. People didn't like that. I didn't like that. A couple people decided not to participate. I never liked that. I'm not going to hold it against them, but you guys already know how I feel about Sonny Styles, man. I think about Harbaugh and the Ravens. And always having a dominant middle linebacker, it's going to be hard to pass up on Sonny Styles, just like it's going to be hard to pass up on Downs. Bricks Jer's in the building. My man Guy is in the building. He says J Love is generational running back and terrific receiver. Listen, man, I that's one of my talking points for the day is Smokescreen City. Obviously, there's reports that the New York Giants love Jeremiah Love. So for me, why wouldn't you? He's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. I can't say one bad thing about him. I wouldn't want to say anything bad about him. He's a phenomenal running back. The Giants can't take a running back in the first round. That's how I feel. And while I'm still doing these openings, pause. While I'm still doing, the shout outs and let me know in the comment section, man, because, again, Jeremiah Love is fantastic. Best running back, one of the top players. I think Daniel Jeremiah has him ranked number 2 overall prospect going into the draft. But do the New York Giants take a running back in the first round? You guys let me know, man. That's going to be my first question tonight for you guys while I go through the chat. Shout out to Luann said, yeah, what's going on, Luann? Luann says Styles, but I want Tate. Yeah, shout out to Tate, man. Tate ran a 4.54 today, and he was upset about it. And listen, he is not known to be a burner, but he can still get open downfield. And there's a lot of successful wide receivers in the league that ran a 4.5. Some people even ran 4.6s, and it wasn't an issue. Shout out to my man Jarius in the building. What's going on, Jerry? Said, what up, Dash, man? How you been there, Jarius? How we doing, man? How you feeling, man? You excited? Let me know. Let me know, man. Are you ready for the season already? Season just ended, and I'm already ready to go. JKB Gaming in the building. He said Styles. My big brother in the building said, Big Dash, let's go, little bro. What's going on, big bro? JK says, he said, I think it's plenty of wide receivers this year. We can get some good. We can get some good at the top of the second. We can get a wide receiver at the top of the second. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that too, man. The wide receivers were flying today. It felt like almost 50% of the wide receivers was low 4.4s and 4.3s or high 4.3s. It's crazy. Is it Mir 174 says this beat go hard, Dash? Shout out to Nove 9, man. Shout out to Jersey. Shout out to Newark. That's my brother-in-law's brother that made that beat for the opening of the live. So shout out to Nove 9. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram as well. We got a super chat. Shout out to my man Prime. Shout out to Mark. He says, with the $20 super chat, he says, salute Big Dash. Now I appreciate that, man. That it's the last day of Black History Month. I appreciate you helping out a brother in Black History Month. Shout out to my man Mark in the building. Smooth says also Sunny Styles. Yeah. Corky, what's going on? Corky says, good evening. NYT in the building says, salute Dash. What's going on, everybody? I'm trying to get caught up. You guys are in here flooded. I appreciate the love. We're going to vibe tonight, man. It's a family reunion. We're going to talk Giants. Everybody's excited about the Combine. If you're like me, you probably haven't moved much in the last 3 days, 4 days. You've been glued to the television, rewatching, watching. Overall, for me, the Combine, a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of players made a lot of money. Jacob Rodriguez, he made some money. Of course, Sonny Styles was already going to make some money. He was already looked at as a top 10 prospect. Now people are talking about him as a top 5 prospect. Yeah, and we still got the offensive line tomorrow, and that's where the bread and butter is with the offensive line. Let me thank you for everybody. Let me know that the audio was good, perfect. Shout out to everybody, man. It seems like everybody is live tonight, so I'm happy. The freaking energy is up in the chat. We're gonna have us a good show, man. We're gonna have us a good show. Deb Ellis in the building says, I was all in on Downs, but now thinking Styles. Yeah. Well, I don't know why Downs didn't decide to work out. I understand you got the pro days. I understand, you're gonna do good at the pro day, but this is where everybody is in one place at one time. You got the best of the best at the Combine. This is what you do. I'm pretty sure when Carnell Tate, lined up to run his 40 and he got his 4.54, I'm pretty sure he didn't know that the guy behind him, Brennan Thompson, was going to run a 4.26 behind him. Like, it's all about competition. And I know that Downs is highly competitive. That's no doubt in my mind. But in these certain situations and scenarios, yeah, you got to perform. You got to do something. You got to do something. I say the same thing about Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson didn't do anything. Why? Why didn't you do anything? I don't think they released anything on the medicals for Jordan Tyson. So hopefully, those things come through clean. And if those things come through clean, there's a lot of options at the wide receiver spot. Now, if you're looking for a wide receiver one, that might be slim pickings. The top 3 guys, maybe all of those guys are wide receiver ones. I don't even think so. But if you're looking for wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s and 4s, which the New York Giants need to revamp their entire wide receiver room, then yeah, this draft is full of them. The draft is full of them. Shout out to my man Stacy in the building, said this draft will definitely be predicated upon free agency. Absolutely. Once free agency kicks off, we'll have a clearer idea of where the New York Giants are going to go. And speaking of that, actually, let me get to my comments about Love. Let me see and I do apologize if I missed your comment. Go ahead. If I miss your comment, man, I'll be scrolling up and down the chat, but you guys got it flooded right now. And I'm trying to get to as many comments as possible. Is it, I'm saying it, ICU DJ, is it ICU DJ X or is it ICUD Jax? Let me know in the comment section for sure. I hate messing people's names up. I want to give people that respect. He said, hey, Big Dash, man, this wide receiver class looks good. I like Branch could play the slot. Listen, when I say we can revamp this entire wide receiver room, I mean it. Revamp the whole wide receiver room. I'll get into the rumors. I'll get into the Wan'Dale Robinson talk. I'll get into the Bobby Okereke talk, which we kind of knew was going to happen anyway, but they talking about it. We got the salary cap, how much the salary cap is going to be, up $22 million. Puts the salary cap at $301 million. So Giants still broke right now, so we got to make some moves. So even with the raise in the salary cap, Teron, Mike Washington made himself some money. He was crying today too. It was crazy. He said Mike Washington better than Love. Is it Terondrick? Got you now. Rainy. Got you. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mike Washington. Shout out to Mike Washington, too. Mike Washington better than Love. Nah, man. We ain't going to do that. Shout out to him, though, for running that. What, he run a 4.33 today? That man ran that 4.33. He got on the phone with his agent and started crying because he knew he made some bread. That 4.33 got him the bag. People been mocking, Washington to like, what, the 6th round? And we already know what the money is different in the 6th round. He might go as high as the late 4th, early 5th, possibly now after running like that. 6'1", 220 pounds. You see the tape, and then he turned around, run a 4.33. Yeah, he made himself some money today, and he was happy about it. He knew it. Kenya says that if we go Styles with 5, do we go wide receiver with the 2nd round pick? We can run back the same receiver core. I said we can or we can't. Said we can run back the same receiver core. Well, it depends on what's left of the core, actually. Now, Malik Neighbors coming back. We saw the videos. I'm happy about that. Wan'Dale Robinson, can we afford him? Don't know. How do we feel about Darius Slayton? Half of us hate him. Jalen Hyatt, can't do it. Bo Collins, not ready. No Isaiah Hodgins. Ain't nothing to run back, brother. Ain't nothing to run back. We got free agency. We're going to get some decently priced, wide receiver rooms to help fill out the room. And then when we get to the draft, we got to take at least 1, but we might even take 2, depending on how good free agency goes. If we can solidify the offensive line in free agency, you might see the Giants take 2 wide receivers possibly. Early, maybe. Early. Shout out to Sonic in the building. He says, good evening, Big Blue. What's up? Big Dash knows what's going on, Sonic Supreme. How you doing, man? The guy says Tate been a dog since IMG Academy. Yeah, shout out to IMG Academy. They got some stuff going on behind the scenes, though, with the money, though. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Don says Kenyon Sadiq ran a 4.3. Listen, shout out to Kenyon Sadiq. He's going in the 1st round. I can't even talk about tight ends. I can't. Every year, it feels like every year we draft a tight end, and what are we doing to develop the tight ends? Nothing. I don't know what Fedoni looks like. Theo Johnson looks more like a tight end 2 than a tight end 1. Don't know if we're going to get Daniel Bellinger back. And where Kenyon Sadiq is getting drafted, we can't draft a tight end that early, can we? Can we? Can we draft a tight end that early? Receiving tight end possibly? Big slot, maybe? I don't know. Shout out to Paul in the building. Chris is in the building. Prentice says BPA at 5. Listen, that sounds cool. BPA at 5 sounds cool until it's Jeremiah Love at 5. And then you're not taking Jeremiah Love at 5. Are you kidding me? Again, I'm not, and this is not anything against Jeremiah Love. This is the New York Giants and the need for other positions. I like Jeremiah Love. Love him. He won't be a New York Giant, not in my opinion. It doesn't make sense. What's going on? Rev says Styles are Downs in the 1st. That's what it's looking like. I wish we would have saw Downs work out though, and he didn't. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. That's the only thing I didn't like. Shout out to Luke. It don't matter what name you pick. Shout out to Lube Mupp with the $5 super chat. He says I haven't caught a live in a minute. I don't want any off-season build-up this year. Just shock me with the wins. I understand. Listen, how do you pick your names though? How do you be picking your names, man? That's a new one though. That's my first time seeing this name. I know the profile pic though. Joe Edwards says hit the subscribe and the like button. Please do. Shout out to 140 people in the building. Please hit the like button. It does more than you even know. That goes across the board for all New York Giants content creators in general. You hit the like button, it does more than you even know. Absolutely. Paul says the Combine really got shook up by these incredible showings. Now I did. I was impressed. I was impressed how people ran, how people moved. Now, there were some surprises on the other end where there was some stiffness and some tightness. David Bailey, edge, Texas Tech. He looked stiff in the drills. Um, he ran good though. I believe he ran a 4.540, and that's good for him coming off the edge. I think he still solidifies his spot as a top 5 pick, but we'll see what happens. You know what happens in the combine, and then you know what happens in the 2 months after the combine. Things just start to go crazy. People come out of left field. People come out of the 3rd round, end up being 1st round picks. That's the draft season, man. It's crazy, and I'm here for it. Side guy Brad says Bane has alligator arms. The one thing about Bane, though, and I kid you not, he's still in my top list of wants for the New York Giants. He got the short arms, but he been playing with them short arms his whole life, and it hasn't been an issue. Everybody wants to overthink things. Not saying that you do, because it's funny. I saw some of the tweets. Some of the tweets and some of the pictures that people put up. Some of the AI that people put up. They put him next to Tyrion Lannister with the short arms. I was cracking up. Shout out to those that watch Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister reference. But yeah, I saw the pictures. It was hilarious. But he can play, man. He can play. He said, "Give me Alexander Styles." Yeah, that's funny, right? We found out what his real first name was. It's not Sonny Styles. It's Alex. Sonny is so much cooler though. Alex Styles is wild. Alex Styles sounds like a wrestler. Sonny Styles sounds like a gangster. And the funny thing is, they got the name Sonny from The Godfather. The oldest son. That's what the mom said at the combine. Sonny came from the movie The Godfather. It's dope. It's dope. Shout out to my man Joe Ferris in the building with the $10 super chat. You know I don't curse, Joe. At least I try not to curse. I try not to. In my regular life, sometimes things fly. But he says, I heard the BS before. How can you explain Big Darius talking about me? They keep Joe Shane. They spend $30 million on new coaches. I don't even care how much they spend on the coaches. It's not even the same pot. At least they tried. They've been paying coaches $5 million for so long. I'm cool with it. He says they can. They say you can have a beautiful ice cream, but if you're in a if there is a tiny poop in there, it's over. That analogy is wild, Joe. The analogy is wild. I appreciate the super chat. I understand your frustration. I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to get excited about what could happen. Last year, you were spot on with the Russell Wilson stuff. I got to keep giving you your props on that. But I'm excited still, man. I'm not talking about games and how many games we might win or lose. I didn't do that yet. No predictions. But I'm excited with what I'm seeing, and I'm talking about the draft, and I'm talking about the combine. I ain't really get a chance to talk about the Giants yet tonight. Shout out to Phil with the $5 super chat. He says, if you can get a third for trading Kayvon, take Styles at 5, take DT Hunter, that's Lee Hunter, Texas Tech, or Miller at 37. Go wide receiver in the 3rd. There will be plenty, and go O-line in free agency. Well, you didn't ask me a question at all. You just laid out the plan. I will absolutely take a 3rd for Kayvon. I'm not taking anything less than that. I already don't want to get rid of Kayvon to begin with. I'd rather keep Kayvon, to be honest. A lot of teams have 3 good edge rushers at least. We get rid of Kayvon, but I understand the value of having draft capital, especially in this draft, especially after we're still in the thick of it when it comes to the combine. We're still excited. So we want as many picks as possible. I do understand that. He says, take Styles at 5. I'm already on that boat for sure. There's a couple players that I want at 5, but Styles is at the top of my list for sure. A lot of people don't see the value in the off-ball linebacker, but I see the value in who I'm calling Fred Warner 2.0. That's what I'm calling Sonny Styles. Fred Warner 2.0, the bigger, stronger, faster version. And that's crazy to even say that. But he literally is bigger, strong. Well, he's bigger, faster. I don't know what he is in the weight room as far as Fred Warner. But you get the idea. And then Lee Hunter is a character for sure. You know what's crazy? I had when I saw Lee Hunter, when you look at Lee Hunter, and for the guys, look up Lee Hunter at the combine. I was like, he looked like a barbecue pitmaster. He looked like an unk at the barbecue, working the grill. But then when you see him in uniform, you see him in shoulder pads, and he's throwing people around. You're like, where is his athleticism? He does not look athletic at all, but he is. Shout out to Lee Hunter, and he's a character. I like him. I like him. And then you said take Christian Miller, take Hunter or Christian Miller. That's the tight end. I'm sorry, that's a D tackle from Georgia at 37. Then go wide receiver in the third. Now, this is where things are going to get a little bit trickier, right? The way these wide receivers perform today, it's going to be a lot of shuffling. Guys that you thought were going to be around in maybe like late third, fourth round, I don't know now. It's guys that you thought was going to be at the top of the second, I don't know now. It was a lot of stuff happening. So we definitely need a third round. I would feel more comfortable with passing on a wide receiver in the first round if we had a third round pick. Because we got 5, we got 37. We don't pick again to 105. A lot of those wide receivers are going to be off the board. They out here running 4.3s, high 4.3s and 4.4s like it was nothing today. Answering a lot of questions. You should have heard. You can hear it in Daniel Jeremiah's voice. Some of these guys running the way they were running. It's crazy. It's crazy. Shout out to Dutch Dillon. $5 super chat says Giants are on the clock. Welcome to 2026 NFL Draft. And the New York Giants selection, Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State, said, I haven't caught a live in weeks. Well, guess what, man? Welcome back. Welcome home. Welcome to the family reunion. Glad that you're back. Glad you were able to catch another live. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And again, I'm with the whole Sonny Styles thing. I'm with whatever right now. Sonny Styles is at the top of my list. I want a dominant linebacker. I want to be able to stop the run. Still need some help on the defensive line, though, too, though. There's a lot of holes we got to fill. Joe Ferris with the $10 super chat. He says, full bloom love. The vibes are different in the building. Massive upgrade at quarterback. I don't agree with this. You got some rose-colored glasses. I said a massive upgrade at quarterback. Those words came out of my mouth. Massive upgrade at quarterback. High potential. High potential. Do I think Jackson Dart? I think Jackson Dart will get all of the chances in the world to be the franchise quarterback for the New York Giants. I think he will end up being the franchise quarterback in the New York Giants just because he does certain things that are not teachable. Now, the things that you can teach, like if you get his feet right, sky's the limit. You get him to play a little bit smarter, get out of bounds, be aggressive when you need to be aggressive. Be smart when you need to be smart. Don't tame him too bad. He might be the guy. So my rose-colored glasses, they might have a little tint. They might have a little tint of rose, maybe a little rose gold. Maybe not necessarily rose, but a little rose gold. They tint it for sure. For sure. Appreciate the love and support. Let's see what else we got going on. William says, I love Sonny Styles on 5, but watching Combine, I want to trade down, end up and somehow still draft Caleb Downs and Toledo's. And man, you want 2 safeties. Because you said and, you didn't say and or. Oh, no, I see it there. And Toledo's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren or Oregon Dylan Thinneman. Yo, shout out to Dylan from Oregon, safety from Oregon. Shout out to him. That man ran a 4.37 40. He ran a 4.37 40, and it's funny too, man, because one of the guys I follow, he was like, white guys can run fast too. I said, you got it. You got 4.37. That man is smoking right now. 4.37. Shout out to him. Another prospect that earned himself a little bit more money because they already had him around the second round. Somebody's going to fall in love with that speed, and then the tape is good too, skilled. So yeah, he made himself some money for sure. 4.37 is bananas. Somebody said that he might be the most athletic white player in the league, and I said I got to see him hoop first because I saw Cooper DeJean hoop, and Cooper DeJean is nice. So if he want to take the title away from Cooper DeJean, I need to see Dylan hoop. I need to see him hoop if you're going to be titled the most athletic out of there. Hirsch for real. What's going on, Hirsch? He said, Dash, we still need to find a way to get a third. Listen, unfortunately, you know what it is. Unfortunately, you know what it is. And it's most likely going to be Tibbs. You already see the rumor mill. You already see the rumor mill. It's going to be Tibbs. I saw you, Ken. You said can't when it comes to the wide receiver room. I saw it. Yeah. Unless we trade back in the first, which now that fifth overall is looking like a blue chipper for sure, possibly, most likely. And when I do my mock drafts, the times I don't trade out of 5, I definitely trade out of 37 just so I can pick up something additional in the third, maybe an additional 4th round pick. That's what I've been doing in mocks. Again, that's just me, guy on YouTube doing mock drafts, so it is what it is. But you know what? The only way to guarantee like a 3rd round pick for sure prior to the draft is trading Tibbs. And again, I'm not trading Tibbs for anything less than a 3rd. And I can't do it. I can't. I like having a good edge rotation. And if you move Tibbs, guess what you got to do after you move Tibbs? You got to find another Tibbs. You got to find another Tibbs. Okay, yeah, we going on. We going on. What was my man Chris says? The U.S. men's hockey team won the gold medal. That happened today. That's what's up. Giants were relevant last time when the 1980 team won the gold medal. Shout out to the U.S. men's team. I didn't even know that. I know they was whooping butt in the games, but didn't know that. So shout out to the U.S. men's hockey team for winning the gold medal. I appreciate that. So I'm a change subjects just for a second, man, because we talking about linebackers, and obviously the draft of linebacker, people are talking about an obvious move. Rumors came out this morning, which we already talked about, possibly moving on from Bobby Okereke, not being able to play at that cap hit, and we saw it today. The move, the possible move. The rumor is that the New York Giants will be cutting Bobby Okereke. Now, this is one thing I said about this situation. I said you really can't cut Bobby Okereke until you find a replacement for Bobby Okereke. Before the draft, I'm just talking about in free agency, because when you look at the linebacker room, it's Bobby Okereke and it's Darius Muasau. That's it. And then when it comes to the draft, yes, everybody's saying Sonny Styles, but we don't know what's going to happen on draft night. We don't know who might step in front of us, who might step on our toes before we even get a chance to get Sonny Styles. So for me, that means if these rumors are leaking, which we already most likely is going to happen, that means they already have somebody that they're targeting in free agency to be the linebacker. Because if you lose Bobby Okereke, I know how people feel about, but he's getting old. He lost a step. The man's still averaging 100 tackles a season. The crazy thing about him is, like I said, we've seen him. The way he misses is the problem with Bobby Okereke. He still makes plays, but when he's bad, it's horrible. So a lot of people see him being horrible, but he still does make plays. But you definitely got to get an upgrade. But before you get an upgrade, you got to make sure you got that replacement in the building. Who's going to be the linebacker too? Not Darius Muasau. You can't have Sonny Styles learning from Darius Muasau or somebody like that. Not saying that he needs to learn, but NFL is the NFL. So it's another level. But because we said that, shout out to my man Stacy, already talking about some options at the linebacker. Perfect, Stacy. We're gonna use some of your examples. Leo Chanel from Kansas City was somebody that I was high on when he came out. What was that? Wisconsin? Yeah, Leo Chanel came out of Wisconsin. Sometimes I get Wisconsin and Nebraska mixed up because of the colors, but it was Wisconsin that Leo Chanel came out of. Cheap option. The thing about Leo Chanel, is he a every down linebacker? That we don't know. We saw him at Kansas City. Kansas City had fantastic linebacker play. It was a nice rotation going there. He was not a full-time starter, though. He did play a lot. But Leo Chanel is definitely on my list. Quay Walker out of Green Bay. I think Miami might try to get him, but he's definitely on that list as well. So, you gotta get somebody in free agency. We can't go into the draft with only Darius Muasau and a prayer that we get Sonny Styles or maybe later on get a Jake Golday or Jacob Rodriguez, or a Torian York, or it's some linebackers in this draft for sure. But there's no guarantee you get one of those guys, so we got to solidify the linebacker spot in free agency. Sonic says over here doing a lot of logos like crazy. Now, shout out to the work. Shout out for you getting the work done. That's a fact. Where we at? Matt says got to trade Tibbs for a third or a fourth. It got to be a third, man. That fourth, I might have to hang up the phone if somebody's only talking a fourth. We talking about a pass rusher that can also stop the run. Has he shown it? Has he peaked? Hopefully he hasn't peaked. I still think he can improve. I still think he's getting better. But yeah, I don't know. Mosley 2.0. He says we went from Hyatt is open to Hyatt can't do it to buy Hyatt, I guess. That's where we went. It's crazy. It's crazy how that happened. It ain't even crazy. We saw it happen. We saw it unfold in real life, real time. Just nothing happened. I remember his rookie season. He was wearing the number 84. In the preseason game, might have been the first preseason game. They go deep. He gets a touchdown. He's sitting in the yoga. He sat in the yoga position in the end zone. And I said, oh boy, we cooking. Preseason, he gets a touchdown right off the bat in preseason. I said, and he has not scored a touchdown since. Not one touchdown. Andrew Thomas got more touchdowns than Jalen Hyatt. Sad, man. Sad. And I pushed hard for Jalen Hyatt. I tried my best. I held on for the longest. Fought for that man. Can't fight for him anymore. And depending on how Harbaugh feels about him, he most likely is going to be on that 90-man roster, but there's no guarantee he makes the 53. And there shouldn't be. Respectfully. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Shout out to my man Phil with the $2 super chat. Says if Styles not there, do you go Tate? Who you got? I'm glad you brought this up, man. I like Tate. I don't think the 4.54 does not bother me. The 4.540 does not bother me at all when it comes to Tate. Because again, I didn't expect him to be fast. I didn't expect him to run a low 4.4, a high 4.3. I didn't expect that. It would have been fantastic if he would have got like a 4.47 or 4.49. That would have been fantastic for him. But seeing him at 4.54, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't take him. No, you can absolutely still take Tate. Absolutely, you can still take Tate, because him running a 4.54, the man runs routes. He gets separation. Somehow, some way, he's getting open down the field. The 4.5 does not seem to be a problem. Does not seem to be a problem. Did you want him to run faster? Absolutely. Didn't happen, though. It didn't happen. William got some standouts. He says, wide receiver, Jacoby Lane. Yeah, Jacoby Lane. Yeah, Colby Young, Zachariah Branch. Zachariah Branch had himself a day too. Colby Young came out of nowhere for me because I wasn't even hip on Colby Young. But Jacoby Lane made himself some money today. Had the white gloves on. His hands are huge. Caught the ball with ease. Showed good body control. Ran fast. Is a real 6'4". Still under 200 pounds though, so he's light. But man, yeah, he made himself some money today. It's going to be some wide receivers. Omar Cooper looked good today. They had the hype train there because they was in Indiana. So you had the college fans come out cheering for their people. Fernando Mendoza was in the building, smiling, doing this thing. So yeah, the vibe was good today, man. The vibe was really good. Fendi says, in what round they got us drafting him? Who drafted who? Who you talking about? Stacy says Ephesians Prysock is a cornerback we could draft in the 4th. You know what's funny about that though? That's another group. Cornerbacks did a fantastic job this week. All of them ran fast too. Ephesians Prysock, 6'3". What is he? 201 pounds, something like that. Big corner, 6'3" cornerback. Takario Davis, his teammate, 6'4", 200 pounds. both out of Washington. They both ran pretty fast. Yeah. No, actually, Prostock I think ran a 4.5. Davis I think ran a 4.4. I've seen so many numbers. Davis didn't get to the 4.3s, did he? He might have. But again, big body, long cornerbacks, can press. Yeah, I think that Denard Wilson would take a long look at those guys. What, Luann? What did you say? Yeah. Oh, my paisans. There you go, Sonny. I'm that. Hold on. Let me see where I'm at. 7. Yeah, I'm almost 10 minutes behind in the comments. I apologize again. I'm jumping all the way down to the beginning. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to my man Wells in the building. What's going on, Wells? He says, we all dream playoffs immediately. Reality check. This is still year one of the Harbaugh era with a ton of holes to fill, patient rebuild vibes over hype trains. Listen. You got to tell Harbaugh that. Harbaugh's coming with that type of energy too. You got to tell Harbaugh to calm down. It's a rebuild. This is year one. Tell Harbaugh that, because the way Harbaugh talking about competing in the division right now. Not Super Bowl. We ain't saying nothing about the Super Bowl, but he's talking about competing right now. So we got to tell Harbaugh to pump the brakes. But Wells also said Giants fans, myself included, have a habit of setting sky-high expectations every offseason. New coach, fresh draft capital, promising pieces. Yeah, thanks to Joe Shane, we got pieces after 4 years of him being the GM. Pieces. This team should have been built and ready to go after 4 seasons. I'm just saying. Sonic says it's crazy how they're gonna eye on Kenneth Walker. He's becoming another subject for the Giants to in the rumor mill. Listen, I have a theory, right? I do have a theory when it comes to this running back talk, right? I do think the Giants have, like, the number 5 pick is for sale. I do believe the number 5 pick is for sale. You got to make people believe, because right now they're talking about Jeremiah Love, so I'm going to run with it, right? This is my conspiracy theory. You're seeing all these rumors about the New York Giants, how much they love Jeremiah Love. What is there not to love? And then now people are talking about the Giants could possibly take a running back at 5. If you want to make that number 5 pick valuable, as far as a trade back, you really got to make teams believe that there's a chance that you take a wide receiver. I'm sorry, that you take a running back, that you got a chance of taking Jeremiah Love. So how does the Kenneth Walker thing come into place? So if we're showing interest in other running backs as well, Kenneth Walker, big name, free agent, Super Bowl MVP. If we're showing interest in Kenneth Walker, so now the Giants are being tied to Kenneth Walker. The Giants love Jeremiah Love, so now everybody's thinking, okay, well, the Giants might, take a running back. It makes somebody want to trade up even more, possibly. It makes that number 5 pick even more valuable. Who knows? Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs want to run it back. Maybe they'll give up 10 and 41, for 5, possibly. And we move back to the 10th spot. I'm cool with that. But we got to make these teams and these execs really believe that there's a chance that we really might take Love at 5 and drive that trade price up. That's my conspiracy theory. I might be crazy, but that's just how I'm thinking. Shout out to Prentice with the $5 super chat. He says the 4.540 doesn't bother me with Tate either. That man doesn't drop the ball. Pause. He only dropped 1 ball this season, just 1. And they don't even have it on PFF, but it was in the playoff game. He dropped 1 pass. That's it. Just same way Sonny Styles missed 1 tackle that was in the playoff game. That was it. Imagine going your whole season with 1 drop with that many targets. Imagine going your whole season with only 1 missed tackle. Sonny Styles did that, man. Listen, there's a good chance that the next first round pick of the New York Giants comes from Ohio State. Possibly, maybe. KC legit in the building. What's going on, KC? He says, I honestly do not care how many picks we get. All I want is for the Giants to pick the right ones. We need to get the picks right. Got to get the picks right. That's what, at the end of the day, that's what matters, man. If we go with Maui Noah at 5, he better be fantastic. He better be fantastic. No matter who it is, they got to hit. Or it's right back to Joe Shane being on the hot seat. If he don't hit, guys got to hit, and they got to hit fast. Revenge Strife says, I think this draft class is fire. Yeah, it is fire. And he says, what do you think about right tackle at 5? Why you keep saying Fisk? I'm not Fisk. I'm not Fisk. Shout out to Fiskville. Shout out to Fisk. You called me Fisk before. That's crazy. Shout out to Vaporizer in the building. Said, what's good, Dad? You got to say I'm keeping an open mind until free agency is finished prior to the draft. Prediction now will stick and pick at 5. Trade back from 37 for a team looking for a potential cornerback or wide receiver. That's the one thing, too, about it, man. We talk about guys moving into the first round. That means people got to move back. And who are those people going to be? What did I do with my water? Who are those people going to be? If people are moving up, some people got to move back. That means at 37, somebody that could have possibly been a first rounder might be there for us to take at 37, which makes that 37 pick, to your point, valuable. And you could possibly trade back. For me, that's the sweet spot to trade back is at 37. You know, let me get my blue chipper at 5. Let me get Styles or Downs or Tate at 5, or whatever happens there. And then when I get to 37, you know what? There's a lot of value in the second and third round. Let me trade back out of 37. Pick up an additional third. I'll still get a second rounder, so I got a second and a third. And hopefully we knock it out the park. Hopefully. Said the women won as well. The women's hockey team won too. Shout out to the U.S. Shout out to the U.S. Even though we jumped, I'm gonna leave it there. We jumping in another war. I'm gonna leave it at that. We gotta make sure we do things right. Revenge and Strife also said Bowen ruined Okereke. I do believe that. But again, what have you done for me lately? Is how it is. My man JG says, in my opinion, Okereke was cheeks though. He didn't play he didn't play well, but he still hit certain numbers. Could he have played better? Absolutely. Funny thing is, when Charlie Bullen took over, he had back-to-back weeks with almost double-digit tackles and an interception. When you're playing aggressive, Charlie Bullen was way more aggressive than Shane Bowen, and you saw as soon as you played more aggressively, Bobby Okereke looked better. But now, it's too late. Because guess what? It's over for Bobby Okereke, dog. It's over for him. It is over for Bobby Okereke. The only way Bobby Okereke got a chance is after they cut him, they agree on a deal that's cheaper. And that way you don't have to worry about who's going to be linebacker 2. Or who's going to be next to, hopefully, Sonny Styles. My man Don says Sonny and Bobby would be fantastic. Sound like two Italians. Sonny and Bobby. I need it in New York. Give me Sonny and Bobby Corleone at linebacker. Let's do that. But yeah, Bobby O he gotta come off some of them M's. He gotta come off some of those M's. Q Burrow, what's going on? Q Burrow says Bobby needs to get a tackle for loss. Yeah, he gets 100 tackles, but they all are 6 yards. Yeah, and no arguments from me. The only pushback that I'm gonna give you is this: it's hard to get tackle for losses when they got you playing hook the curl. When they got you playing hook the curl, and also it's hard to get those tackles for losses when your defensive line is letting guards get free and get to the second level. But Bobby O got to be Bobby O. He got to play better. But again, Bobby O might not even be a Giant in another week. We might get this news as soon as Monday that Bobby O is cut. It could happen. It could happen tonight. Still, maybe not. It's kind of late. But you understand what I'm saying. CTA 815 says Tremaine Edmonds. I was when the year that Bobby Okereke was a free agent, Tremaine Edmonds was too. I thought about getting Tremaine Edmonds there, but $20 million for a linebacker was crazy for us, especially when but we were coming off of the playoff run. We thought we drank the Kool-Aid and thought we were contenders, that we were going to come back and then we fell on our faces. But Edmonds, I don't know how much money Edmonds is asking for. And then also I think Edmonds is he a cap casualty or is his contract actually? I think he might even be a cap casualty. So I don't know what his price might be. But again, if you don't have Bobby O, you got to sign somebody in free agency before you get to the draft. You got to sign somebody. Somebody's going to, what's the guy's name? You got Lloyd, too, from Jacksonville. He's going to be a free agent. My man said Quay Walker earlier, Leo Chanel, which I'm leaning towards Leo Chanel because, again, when it comes to the money, you know how I feel about that. You got to be smart when it comes to the cap. You got to be smart. Let's see. That dark friend says, keep Okereke, you need a vet. I do believe so. He just can't play at that money. But Bobby O at $15 million is wild right now. You can't even defend it. You can't even. That's why he's getting cut, and we saved $9 million. Bobby O at a 1-year deal, 1-year prove-it deal, kind of, or transition deal for like $6 million, $7 million. That makes more sense. It's a lot easier to take on 6 or 7 rather than to take on, 15. Yeah, nah, and I agree. But he just won't play under that number. Hopefully, it's like the Packers when they had A.J. Hawk. The Packers cut A.J. Hawk. They were like, what are they doing? They couldn't afford the deal. They cut him, and then 2 days later, they signed him right back for a cheaper deal. You might see the same thing happen here. Or Bobby O might feel disrespected and actually walk off. We'll see what happens, though. JG says, sad never even got hired in open field. Listen, man. Now, which call got him once, man? Daniel Jones hit him once in the Arizona game. And if the ball was on time, that might have been a touchdown. He had to wait for that ball to get there. He had those 2 corners beat. Remember that? We were down like 20-something points in the half. We came back second half. He had to open it up, play action, hit Hyde over the middle. That should have been a touchdown, man. That should have been a touchdown. Just like in 24 against Dallas when Malik Neighbors, I don't know who he stutter stepped, and he was wide open. And he had to turn around and wait for the ball to get there, and that was a touchdown. That was Daniel Jones. Like, man, listen, man, we left so many plays on the field. It's crazy. Shout out to my man DL in the building. What's going on, DL? Fantastic New York Giants content creator. If you are not subscribed to my man DL, first off, what are you doing? Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button on my man D. What's going on, man? D, listen. Listen. I've been reading the comments. I know some of the arguments that we've been having. I love the arguments and the debates we be having. Yeah. Let me know. You know what? Let me know your schedule, man. Because I definitely got to talk to you on the live for sure. Late night Giants talk. I get my man D. Everybody tell D. man. Let's do something. Adidas was a Dad's Life. Almost called you Adidas, man. My fault. A Dad's Life says Cruz ran a 4.546, didn't he? Listen, again, I got no worries in the world about Tate running that 4.540. No issues at all. No issues at all. Body control, just yeah. I'm not worried about Tate at all. He is what he is. Oh, somebody mentioned DJ Moore. Hold on. Because I've seen this too, man. A lot of people talking about that trading for DJ Moore. That's a lot of money, dog. That's a lot of money. I understand the shiny things. I understand, you know what? We need a wide receiver. Let's go get a wide receiver. Well, DJ Moore is a fantastic wide receiver. Let's get him. I understand that in theory, but then you got to talk about the money. Again, I like to talk about the money. $28 million for DJ Moore. That's a little rich. Especially when I'm looking at this draft. I'm fresh out the combine watching wide receivers today. I'm not thinking about paying $28 million to DJ Moore. Also, we don't know what this offense is going to look like. We know it's the West Coast offense. I got my theories on it. I think it's going to be more dink and dunk and timing routes and all that other stuff. Couple shots downfield here and there. You already got Malik Neighbors on the field. You need somebody that's okay with not being the number one guy, because Malik Neighbors is going to be that guy, and we already know Malik Neighbors likes to get the ball. you already know that. You know who else likes to get the ball? DJ Moore. And making $28 million at $28 million. You know what? He wants to be wide receiver one. It's not happening. We already got a wide receiver one. And before people talk about the Bengals and Chase and Higgins, DJ Moore is not Higgins. DJ Moore is a bona fide wide receiver one. Higgins is a bona fide wide receiver two. And I think everybody realizes that. He's just a guy that can step up, though. And that's what we're looking for when it comes to who's going to be the wide receiver two for Malik Neighbors. And that's why Tate seems like the perfect fit. I mean, hey. Kalen, what's going on, Kalen? Says our GM can't go wrong drafting protection for Dart. Drafting high for wide receiver isn't necessary with Neighbors. Styles is a good pick, but I like Maui Noah and move Illuminor back to the interior. We got to make sure we get Illuminor paid first, though. That we got to make sure that he comes back. I'm all with the moving Illuminor to guard. And one thing I will say, though, is if the plan is to move him to guard, hopefully the contract reflects that. Because if we're going to be paying them top right tackle money, again, we don't know what his market is exactly going to be yet. It's all over the place. I've seen everything from $9 million to $18 million, and that's a wide gap. But if we were to get Illuminor back, I definitely don't think we go Maui Noah at 5, though. There's some guards in this draft. You got Brian Parker, who's a tackle that can play guard. You got Jennings Dunker out of Iowa, tackle that's going to play guard. You got the kid from Penn State that might fall into the second round, possibly, maybe. What's his name? Vega. I can't even pronounce his last name. Polynesian. You got the kid from Notre Dame. You got the other guard from Iowa that might be there in the fourth round. There's a lot of offensive line depth in day 3. That's where I'm probably going shopping for offensive line. It's probably day 3, the 4th, 5th, 6th round, because there should be some valuable guys there. And then also, then again, when people move up, some people got to move back. But everybody's not dumb, though. So securing the trenches is a priority for sure. Smooth talking about Ephesians. Said my man got the most biblical name, Ephesians Prysock. Yeah. There's a Genesis here. Safety out of Arizona, another one. Biblical names, they out there. Stephen R says Dale and Everett running a 4-3 as big as a big cornerback is the guy in the 3rd or 4th. Again, we got to get a 3rd. I've mocked him a few times. I like him out of Georgia. 6'2". I think he was actually 6'1" when they measured him. 200 pounds, 4'3", 40, fantastic. Grades aren't the best, but he is physical for sure. Coverage is okay. He is sticky, a little bit handsy, but he's a physical corner. I like it. Smooth said, I bet his 40 going to be nice. I wonder if he's running at the Texas A&M Pro. Who you talking about? Was it Concepcion? I think he did. That got it. That's the only person at Texas A&M. Concepcion. Rev said, I'm liking that brother Ephesians. I bet. Rev, Ephesians? What Reverend doesn't like Ephesians? Oh, man. Pro says, imagine Kenneth Walker and Scatterboo. I wouldn't mind that at all. I like that. How much is Kenneth Walker going to make, though? That's my question. Like, a lot of people talk about how much cap space the Giants can create. But then you got to turn around and pay guys. So you create all this cap. I've seen people create almost $100 million in cap just because it's possible. But then you done strip the team down and you got to turn around and pay people. So you probably added that $100 million in cap space you made. You probably got to use 60 to pay people just to fill the team. And then you're right back where you need to be or where you started. I think creating about $60 million in cap space gets the job done. About $60 million in cap space. If you want to push it, maybe 70, and you get the job done. I think you can operate with that. Couple of restructures, couple of extensions, couple of cuts. Like Graham, they talk about Bobby Okereke. Somebody tell me why Graham Gano's getting paid. We can't go into 2026 with Graham Gano. What? No. Give me Ben Sauls, or like we call him here at Late Night Giants Talk. Better call Sauls. Ben Sauls. Let Ben Sauls get his run at kicker this time around. Better call Sauls. Better call Ben Sauls. Luann says, I remember when Giants had $200 million to spend. It's been a long time since that. I remember when Jerry Reese went crazy. And at the time, he spent $100 million, and at the time, that was unheard of. And we got some players. We got Jack Rabbit. We got Olivier Vernon. We got Snacks Harrison. We went to the playoffs. We were winning games 10-7. What was our record that year? What was our record that year with Ben McAdoo? Were we 11-5 that year? Am I bugging? Was that 2017? 2017? I think that was 2017. Were we 11-5 in 2017? Am I tripping? Where's my phone? I got to check. That first year, Ben McAdoo, what was our record? What was our record that year? It was 11-5. Thank you. And our offense wasn't scoring much points. Obviously, we had a couple of them, but we were winning games because of the defense. 11-5 would be fantastic. 11-5 with Ben McAdoo. Good Lord. And then he got fired right after that. He benched Eli and got fired. Benched Eli, started Geno, gets fired the next day. Jerry Reese gets fired. Let me tell you something, though. Listen, say what you want about Jerry Reese. The way that we disrespect Jerry Reese, like he wasn't around for 2 Super Bowls, is crazy. No Ring of Honor. Whenever we have any kind of events, he never shows up. He's never invited, it seems like. Maybe he is invited. He don't, bad taste in his mouth or something like that. Jerry Reese was a GM for 2 Super Bowls. Now, that first one we can say, that was Ernie Accorsi's team. Ernie Accorsi built that team. I understand, but he was still a GM. He got fired. Somebody tell me, has anybody seen Jerry Reese since then? What is Jerry Reese doing? I don't really care. But shout out to Jerry Reese for being a part of 2 Super Bowls. Right now, again, I'm watching a replay of the Combine. You guys can see it in the Giants thing. That is Carnell Tate running his 40, 4.5 40. Oh man, what was highest 40? I believe highest 40 was a 4.41, and people thought he was going to run in the 4.2s, but I believe it was either a 4.44 or 4.41, if I remember right. And I remember during the Combine, I didn't like Hyatt, and that's just the kind of person I am. I go from not liking somebody to riding for them because they're wearing Giants blue. If they're wearing blue, I'm giving them the chance. If they show me or prove to me that they don't deserve the backing, then it is what it is. I know my man Joe Ferris hates when I say, it is what it is. Oh man. OTKP says I need that greatness at 5. Yeah, me too. Joe says shout out to everybody on the planet. Shout out to everybody. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Dealer says our weak edges affect the way our linebackers play the game, especially when it comes to stopping the run. 100%. 100%. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dealer. You want to keep Kayvon, right? You want to keep Kayvon, I think, right? To me, like you trade Kayvon, you're trading your best edge setting edge. And that's not even saying that much because it's not like he was great at it. He was just the best one on the team at doing it. He made some listen, he made some strides. So I saw the I saw the improvement in Kayvon earlier, even though he got injured, even though he wasn't making like a crazy amount of he was getting pressure. He was stopping the run. He was doing a good job. And then he got hurt. We saw Abdul Carter finally start to look good. And now we sitting here like, listen, man, we got to trade Kayvon. Nah, man. Let's keep the rotation going, man. We trade Kayvon to do what? Replace him. And understand, $16 million on the fifth-year option, that's high. But if you want to keep Kayvon around, you got to give him a deal to get that cap hit down and you still save cap space. But it just depends on what people want to do. What's going on, Prince? Shout out to my man Prince in the building. How you been, man? I know you probably been busy. How the weather been treating you, bro? How cold? You still out there? I don't want to say it out loud. Is it cold up there still? Is it still cold? It was 94 degrees today. 94 degrees where I'm at. 94. Crazy. Sunny and Leo in New York for sure. Shout out to my man Seth Dawkins in the what's going on, Seth? He says, I really want Tyson if we don't go defense at 5. You see the way Tyson is sliding right now, man? Tyson is sliding. You can the way that they're acting right now, then also he didn't perform at the Combine. They're making it seem like you could probably get him in the mid-teens. I don't quite believe that. Like watching the tape, a wide receiver like that usually does not make. Well, we saw CD Lamb drop, but Tyson with his ability, his ceiling. Again, I'm waiting for the medicals to come back for everybody to know. Unless I missed it today and they talked about his medicals, but as far as I know, they didn't pretty much say anything about medicals. I don't see him being in the mid-teens, late teens. I think he still goes higher than that, but you never know. You never know. Corky says, what about McFadden? What about McFadden? He got to get 1 year prove-it deal, $2 million possibly, $3 million max. I'll bring him back for that amount. I wouldn't give him the starting linebacker spot. He got to fight for it. With whoever else we sign, he got to fight for it. But I would absolutely bring Mike McFadden back. I don't know how he's going to be with that foot injury, though. I don't know how he's going to look. That man got hurt, and he got hurt, was that the first series of the first game? He had just made back-to-back tackles, too. McFadden, one series, he might have had 3 tackles in that first series before he got hurt. He might have had a good season. McFadden might have had a good season, and we damn sure needed him this year. Damn sure needed him. Exactly what he does, downhill linebacker, blitzing sometimes. He didn't give you too much as far as being able to cover people, but he can get side to side a little bit. He can drop back in the zone a little bit. He's solid linebacker depth to me. If he's $3 million, 1 year prove-it deal, I probably would sign him back. I don't know, though, because it's a whole new regime. I don't know how Harbaugh feels about him. I don't know how Denard Wilson feels about him. I don't know how I feel. I don't know what he's going to look like. Mr. Lester in the building. What's going on, Mr. Lester? He said, let DJ Moore stay in Chicago. I'm with you, Mr. Lester. He can stay out there with Caleb. What would Chicago be thinking? Like Chicago, that run that Chicago had, and it's funny too, because I was actually like rooting for Chicago. I wanted Chicago to go. Just exciting football. Watching Caleb Williams run around and make plays, it was exciting. Some of the best quarterback play in the playoffs, especially compared to what C.J. Stroud was doing, what Drake May was putting together. Almost, it wasn't like crazy quarterback play outside of Stafford. It was fun watching the Chicago Bears. How do you get rid of his wide receiver 1 after he had a year like he had? Did he throw for 4,000? Because it was like something in like Bears history. No quarterback has ever thrown for 4,000 yards since what's the dude in the 80s, McMahon, with the when the Bears used to do videos and dance. Jim McMahon, right? Jim McMahon. I think he was the last Bears quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. That's even if he did it. Again, I was very, very young, very, very young when the Bears were the Bears. So I never really watched the Bears. I remember highlights when I was a little bit older watching the Bears, the refrigerator, and all that other stuff. Dating myself. I'm dating myself, but the gray hairs date myself too. Also, I'm glad you moved to the cornerbacks, man. I'm glad because I'm all over the place. All Star says, loved Malik Muhammad at the combine. I loved his 40 time. I was a little bit concerned with his 40 time. He ran the 4.4, ran in the 4.4s. Love it. Aggressive cornerback out of Texas. Aggressive cornerback. A lot of questions were how fast he was going to run. He ran in the 4.4s. I think he's 6 foot, like 185 pounds. So he's ideal. Long arms, or at least he looks like his arms are long. I didn't look at his measurement. I just assumed because his arms do look long when you just look at him. He's another one of those prospects that when I do my mock draft around that 105th pick, if I haven't traded back to get more draft capital, I usually pick Malik Muhammad in that range. Again, he made some money. The 40-yard dash for cornerbacks means something, especially if you got good tape. If you got good tape and you also run good in the 40, you're making some money. You absolutely make some money. I wish Mansour Delane would have worked out though. My bad, Prentice. How long ago was this? Prentice with the $2 super chat. I just saw my fault, man. He says still got buyer's remorse with O-line. With the O-line from Miami. Yeah, it was Eric Flowers. Listen, I'm not drafting Alabama offensive lineman. And I'm an Alabama fan. Evan Neal has ruined that for me. And it's not just Evan Neal. This is my joke when it comes to Alabama, and it's still Roll Tide. Don't get it confused. It's still Roll Tide. But literally, and it might be different under DeBoer, the new coach, second year coach. He might change the way his offensive line is. But Alabama's offensive line with Nick Saban was literally 4 guards in the center. Their tackles were guards. And when they came out of college, just think about all the best Alabama tackles outside of maybe Jonah. Jonah still held up pretty good at tackle. But all the tackles from Alabama ended up being guards. DJ Fluker, he was a tackle, right tackle, ended up being a guard. Better guard than tackle. Eric Flowers, well, he's what you call, but Evan Neal, we still don't know what he's going to look like at guard. And when he was coming out, we thought he was going to be a top prospect. Well, he was a top prospect. I thought Evan Neal was a no-brainer. Well. Luann says we can get Styles and trade back into the first round to get Tate. That's going to cost you a lot. Because if you draft Styles at 5 and you try to target Tate, you got to get at least back into possibly the top 10, because Tate most likely goes in the top 10. You got to trade back in the top 10 from 37, and you don't have a third rounder. That means you got to give something up in 2027 to move up. And how do you feel about that? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But you got to give up the world to try to move back and get move back into the first and get Tate. I think the New York Giants just need to make the decision. Do you go for the blue chip defender like Downs or Styles, and then I hate the word settle, but then you see who's there at 37 as far as the wide receivers. And then if you don't like what you see at the wide receiver or the cornerback spot, then you absolutely trade back, swap seconds with somebody and then hopefully get a third rounder. And then wherever you're at in that third round, there's still going to be some decent wide receivers, hopefully. They're going to be moving up, though. Kalen says, I agree with Dash. If we pay Illuminor, we probably don't draft O-line high. Yeah, no. It wouldn't make sense. If you pay Illuminor, even if it's like a 3-year deal, he's getting right tackle money, and you're probably going to keep him at right tackle. So in that case, I'm drafting interior offensive line. I'm most likely drafting 2 guards or a right tackle that projects to be a guard. And then maybe in the 6th round, if Logan Jones is there, if Logan Jones is there, the center from Iowa, if he's there with one of those 6th round picks, I might pick him up to back up JMS if we don't go with who's the guy we talk about, Lindenbaum. I don't know. Dealer says, sure would be nice to have a 6'5" Ted McMillan on this team right now. We wouldn't even be talking about wide receivers right now. We could have taken a tackle, linebacker, or edge, or not even thought twice about it. I'll even go a little bit further. I'll go a little bit further. If Darius Slayton knew how to hold on to the ball, we probably wouldn't be looking at Tate either. Just think about all those drops that Darius Slayton had. At least 3 touchdowns he dropped. He probably left another 300 yards in drops on the field. We probably would be a little bit calmer if he just held on to – if Darius Slayton caught 100% of the balls. Pause. We wouldn't even be thinking about it. But, yeah, we're in that boat right now. We're paying him a massive amount of money, and he's most likely going to have to get restructured, cut, or traded post-June 1st cut or traded. I'm leaning towards restructure because, again, we blow up the wide receiver room. We got to replace him. But Darius Slayton's another guy that you look at his contract, he can't play for that money and that cap hit when he's sitting here dropping touchdowns and passes. How much confidence do we even have left in Darius Slayton? And I was fighting for Darius Slayton too. And what I do, I'm not fighting for no more wide receivers, man. I'm not fighting for no more wide receivers. Every time I fight for a receiver, bad things happen. So I'm not. Look, I was sitting here looking at Wan'Dale like Wan'Dale's not getting 100 targets again. That's not happening. And I was like, ain't no way. And look at Wan'Dale got 100 targets. I'm not saying nothing good about none of the wide receivers. Let's see how much Hoodoo I got. Dealer says, I never minded Jerry as our GM. I thought he had a decent eye for talent, except for the offensive line. It wasn't from a lack of trying. Well, he drafted Justin Pugh. He drafted, who was that center that he drafted from Western Kentucky? He ended up going to San Francisco. He had back problems with us. Can't remember his name right. No, he was with Colorado State. We drafted him. That's crazy. I can remember the college he went to, but can't remember his name. I can remember the team that took him after he left here, but I can't remember his name. He was with us. He had injuries. He came from Colorado State. He was a center. He went to the 49ers and played there a few. Weston Richburg, thank you guys. Chris, thank you, Chris, for saving me. Richburg, that's listen. What do you call that? I can remember the college. I can remember where he went. I can remember his injuries, but I couldn't remember his name. That's crazy. Too many names in his head, man. What I gotta get? I gotta get some of that ginkgo biloba, right? That's what it's called. It's for your brain. Get some of that. Greg T says 94 degrees. Where you at in hell? Yeah, in Arizona. From Jersey to Vegas to California to Arizona. Yeah. And it's hot. It is hot. Arizona doesn't believe in daylight savings, and they don't believe in either the spring or the fall. It's just summer and winter. That's it. And the winter ain't even winter. Same with Christian Wilkins. You know what's crazy? I would take Christian Wilkins. I know he has a reputation, not even a reputation. He's done some crazy things. But when I think about what he can do and how he can help this defensive line to help the trenches, I would take a flyer on Christian Wilkins. Maybe Dexter Lawrence can keep him in line. I don't know for sure though, because he's a little wild. But I would definitely take a flyer on Christian Wilkins and tell him to keep his hands to himself. Don't be at the bottom of the pile doing crazy things. Don't do that anymore. Hopefully that's out of his system. Dealer says, yeah, Slayton has been a disappointment. It's a fact. It's a fact. Shout out to Sean Jackson. What's going on, Sean? He says, what up, Dash? Our last draft, the Giants pulled off drafting twice in the first round. In this new New York Giants Harbaugh era, do we pull it off again in the first or in the second round? I want more picks, not less. I'll say that. I want more picks in this draft. What did it always say? You got to have more at bats, right? More at bats. I want more at bats in this draft. The draft. Some people say the draft is top heavy. There's only a few blue chippers, right? And then some people will say there's not too many players with first round grades. It might change after the combine, though. I'm definitely going to tune in to see what Todd McShay. Todd McShay has a good show. I like Todd McShay a lot. I can't remember his partner's name that he does his show with now, but I like that guy a lot too, because he kind of grounds McShay a little bit. And I like their dynamic that they have together. But I'm curious to see if they change some of their grades to see if they have more, first round grades on players. Shout out to T Gree 2 with the 199 super chat. Says Jeremy Bernard, receiver at Alabama. I was happy with his 40 time today. 6'1", was he 203, 206, something like that? So he was right where we thought he was going to be as far as his size. Ran a low 4.5 40. I didn't see the officials yet because I jumped right on to do my stream. So I haven't seen the official times for the wide receivers, but I believe he ran low 4.5s, which is a good time for him. I would have loved for him to be in the 4.4s, but he's a big body wide receiver, man. I saw somebody comp him to Deebo Samuels. I can see kind of what they mean, but he's like Deebo Samuels, like 210, 215 pounds. Bowling ball type. Jeremy Bernard, I don't believe he's a bowling ball. He is tough though. He is a tough receiver, not afraid to go over the middle. Give you some yard after the catch, can run routes better than a lot of people give him credit for. You know what? People are sleeping on Jeremy Bernard, but I'll leave it alone. What else we got? Shout out to everybody that was quick to come up with the name Western Richburg for me, because I for sure was not remembering his name. Greg T said he got a cousin. It's hot, man. It's hot. Simeon, what's going on, Simeon? Simeon said, don't bring that weirdo here talking about Christian Wilkins. Yeah, too much funny biz. That's what Q Barrow said. Yeah, it's a lot of pauses when it comes to like certified, legitimate pauses when it comes to Christian Wilkins. I'll say this. I'm not a player on the field. So for me, I'm still taking the flyer because I understand what he could do on the defense. And because I'm talking about Christian Wilkins, just me saying that is crazy. I'm going to pause that too. And some people don't like when I say pause. Listen, I'm from the East Coast. How I was raised, I apologize for the people that don't like to say pause. It's in my DNA. Maybe at some point in time, I'll be mature enough not to say it. I don't know. D-Dan, what's going on, D-Dan? Dealer says, I remember when everyone was comparing Malachi Corley to Deebo Samuels. That's another one. I'm disappointed in Malachi Corley, man. Maybe it was the Jets. Then he ended up going to, the Browns, right? I thought Malachi Corley was going to be, it's the Jets, too, at the end of the day. But then when he went to the Browns, but it's the Browns, too, at the end of the day. Corley got to go somewhere like Green Bay. Like Green Bay. I bet you if he went to San Fran, they probably get some use out of him. Who else? Who else to get use out of their wide receivers? Denver, possibly, maybe. But they already got Mims, who's kind of like the same player but better. I thought Malachi Corley was going to be better than that, though. Better than what he is. He still got a chance, though. Is it hyphen Wade? Hyphen Wade says, why not? Wilkins ain't too bad. He ain't worse than most players. I don't get why we act surprised when dudes do certain things. Like this sport doesn't facilitate it. There's some weirdos out there. And sometimes weird is accepted. Listen, I'm taking the flyer, though, Wade. I'm taking the flyer out on him. I look at this defensive line pre-draft. I'm looking at this defensive line. Christian Wilkins is starting next to Dexter Lawrence. And I'm hoping Darius Alexander continues to develop and he could be, the third man on that defensive line. But I'm taking Wilkins. I'm sorry. If he does something to somebody else's team and gets fined for it, then we can deal with it. That'll be in his contract. The money will reflect that, hey, man, it's risky business. Take this $8 million. He'll probably walk out or hang up the phone and be told $8 million. Take this $8 million. Try to reinvent yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. And guess what? The next team might give you another long-term deal. But I'm taking the flyer, man. What? You kidding me? And that's the thing. When you're talented, people give you chances. When you're talented, it's a shame, but it's the truth. When you're talented, people will look the other way. It's crazy, but it's true. It's not right, but it's true. He said, no, Diddy, take this $8 million. Take that. Nah, bro. He said, take the $8 million with no Diddy activity. That's man. I'm taking the flyer on Wilkins, man, for sure. Q Burrow says Wilkins is the locker room problem. If he's not a problem in our locker room, we got bigger. He was a problem because wasn't nobody there to beat him up. He was the biggest guy on the team. Wasn't nobody there to beat him up. I think Dex can get him in line. I don't know for sure, though. But I also think Harbaugh you figure he was doing that with Pete Carroll. But I don't know if Pete Carroll got the same discipline or exudes the same discipline as a John Harbaugh. But Pete Carroll is well respected. He was acting up in Oakland, or Las Vegas. Guess what, man? If it goes bad, it goes bad. I'm still taking a chance because the warnings are there. The warnings are there. Hey, this is why you're only making $8 million because you don't know how to act. So get your act together, and maybe we'll re-sign you, or somebody else will give you a bag again. Is it Shanae? Shanae Banks. Shanae Banks says, draft both Styles boys. You know what's funny about that? I watched Ohio State all season long. I watched a lot of Sonny Styles. I didn't pay attention to his brother at all. I knew his brother was on the team. I know his brother played. I know his brother was in the second. I didn't pay attention to his brother at all. I don't know if his brother's good or not. I know his brother's fast. I know he got a Combine invite. But after running that 4.2640 or 4.27, whatever he ran, I think the official was 4.26 or 4.27, something like that. I got to go back and watch Lorenzo Styles Jr. Lorenzo, that's his name, Lorenzo. I got to go back and watch him. I don't know if he's good or not. I just know he's fast. If he's fast, if he's a safety, if he's any good, hey, I don't even know if he's draftable. We don't got any 7th-round pictures right now. I know he's projected to go in the 7th round, but after running a 4.2740, he probably goes 6th round now. Probably that probably gives him. I don't know. I haven't watched him at all. I've watched Downs. I watched Reese. I watched Tate. I watched Styles. I watched McDonald on the D line. I watched all these guys. I did not watch Lorenzo Styles, and I'm gonna go back and watch him. 4.28. I think the official was 4.27, because he ran back-to-back 4.28s, but I think officially it was 4.27. He's a corner. See, I don't even know. They had him running with the safeties, though. They had him running with the safeties. Was he 6 foot, 190 pounds? The size is where you want him to be. I ain't watch him at all. At all. As much Ohio State I've watched this year. Nope. Didn't watch him. But I will watch them. I'm maybe I watch Caddy's cut up, so maybe I log on and see if they got a file on Lorenzo, and then I'll look at them. I won't do it tonight though. I'm gonna do it tonight. Dealer says, he said, shout out to D Dan. He said, I hear you, and definitely I think we're on our way. Might take a little more time. Listen, Dealer look like he's softening up a little bit. Yeah, I already know what it is, Dealer. All we need, we going on a 2-win, or a 3-win run. I already know what it is, Dealer. I understand why you feel the way that you feel, where you don't want to get too excited. You got to prove it. I understand that, but let us go on a run. I know exactly what's going to happen. Because you usually the one that hold me back and keep me grounded. But we go on like a 3-game winning streak. I might be the one to have to hold you back a little bit. Actually, no, because I'll be out the window already. I'll be done jumped out the window. We start off like 3-0 or something like that. I'm jumping out the window. I already know what it is. Xavier Banks says Mike Washington. Yeah, he made himself some money today. He did make himself some money today. Stephen R says Lorenzo style Marcus Jones, huh? Oh, I'm definitely going to watch him. Definitely going to watch him. Little Bean report. What's up? What's going on, man? He says, Big Dash, I'm an OG. Shout out to you, OG. Shout out to you. Xavier says, listen, let me get Carnell, Malik, and Xavion from LSU, plus Mike Washington and Cam. That wouldn't be bad at all. You get Xavion, what, in the 5th, you think? Get him in the 5th? Maybe falls to the 6th of people getting pushed back. Mike Washington is gone, bro. Mike Washington, he might go. Mike Washington going to like the 4th now, most likely the 4th. 4-3-3. He might. I don't know. You know how teams feel about running backs. Some teams they love them. Some teams they hate them. I don't know. Mike Washington did himself a lot of justice today. Made himself a lot of money. Brick says, I want Sonny Styles or Downs, but I'll take wide receiver from USC. You know what's crazy about that? Mekhi Lemon was at the podium, right? He was super intense, right? Like they was asking him questions. He was a little bit more intense than he should have been. But this is my first time seeing him really talk and get addressed by the media. So I just thought that was him. People was blowing it out of proportion, man. Oh, this guy's crazy. Oh, this guy's zesty. I don't care what he is. I watched the tape. I don't care what his personal life is at all. I don't care if he got all his screws or not. When that man is on the football field, he out there making plays. And I think sometimes people just go overboard when it comes to things like that. But I didn't mind it at all. He was super intense, though. Eye contact galore all around the room. A dog, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, his mindset is crazy. We definitely need more of that on this team, too. But, yeah, we ain't going to get him. We ain't going to get unless we trade back. Maybe if we trade back with Kansas City or trade back with the Dolphins, get that 10th or 11th pick, maybe Mekhi Lemon is still there and Tate's probably gone. Yeah, maybe you get him then. Maybe you get him then. I don't think you take him at 5, though. I don't think that happens. Good Lord, how many people? I missed them. Hold on. Where am I at? Got you, Jerry Renard. Okay. Shout out to Just a Guy 5401. He says, is that going to be the Diddy clause in the contract? He definitely got to get a Diddy clause. It got to be written into the contract. Chris, there's no way there's not a clause in there. The first time you do something inappropriate, contract voided. Contract is voided, period. You can't be like, y'all saw the clips with Josh Allen. Josh Allen was ready to throw blows, man. I didn't know what happened. Then you saw the replay. You saw what happened. You was like, oh, yeah. I see why Josh Allen was acting the way he was acting. That's crazy. T. Gree, with the $4.99 super chat. He says, I think we should sign Shiloh Sanders to back up Phillips. I'm going to be honest. And it's not even about Shiloh Sanders. It's more about Drew Phillips. Drew Phillips got some proving to do in his offseason. That kid from Miami, Keontae, the slot corner, I don't know how Denard Wills. It's a clean slate for a lot of these guys, man. And I think Drew Phillips is one of those guys. Clean slate. Whatever you did in the past, he's going to get a clean slate. But we got one good year from Drew Phillips, and 1 year that we're sitting here like he might be a little bit replaceable. Might be. I still like what he does against the run, but we already know when it comes to Drew Phillips, his issue is like 15 to 20 yards downfield. Then he becomes a liability. And we really got to take that into consideration. Now, what also will help that is if we can actually get more pressure on the quarterback and also we're able to stop the run. Then then his play probably steps up like all cornerbacks really. But Shiloh Sanders, and I like the Sanders, man. I followed the Sanders since they was kids, since they pops had that reality show. There's a certain connection that I have with the Sanders. For the guys that have been following me, for the people that have been following me, y'all already know how I felt about Shedeur Sanders. Shiloh Sanders is probably going to be a streamer. And probably going to do a good job streaming. Gamer streamer. That's what I think is going to happen if he does not get on a roster this year. If he doesn't make it to a 90-man roster going into a training camp, then you probably will never see Shiloh Sanders again on the football field. And I say that unfortunately, because I like Shiloh Sanders, but it is what it is. Shout out to my man Joe Ferris. Charles Thompson says, Dash, do you think we can get Lee Hunter? I don't know if we can get him, but I would love to have Lee Hunter. The chances that he slips to 37, I don't know. I think Lee Hunter goes in the first. Again, when you look at Lee Hunter, like outside of his pads, he don't look like what he looks like in pads. But what he does to offensive linemen, what he does to other grown men against their will, pause. He just throws people around like they're nothing. Nothing. Against their will, just take somebody and throw them. Other linemen, centers, guards, he just tosses people. And when you look at him, he don't got any kind of muscle definition in his arm. Kind of like Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence has got no muscle definition. Just strong as hell, though. And Lee Hunter is the same thing. I don't know where Lee Hunter's from. Got to be from somewhere down south with a name like Lee Hunter. How many 20-year-olds you know named Lee still? If your name is Lee out there and you're listening, I apologize. And you're under 45 and your name is Lee, under 40 and your name is Lee, I apologize. But how many people you know named Lee Hunter? That's 22 years old. He got old man, grown man, farmhand strength. That's what he got. That's when I look at it. He ain't got any muscle definition. He got a belly. He got man boobs. His legs look straight. But he is throwing grown men out of the way. I don't know. Charles says him and Dex would be brutal. Listen. To be honest, to be honest, some people want to trade Dexter Lawrence. And if you were to trade Dexter Lawrence, you better get somebody like Lee Hunter. Better. He's one of those guys where obviously you want him to play next to Dexter Lawrence, but we know what happens when Dexter Lawrence jogs off the field. Our run defense is already bad, but when Dexter Lawrence jogs off the field to take a breather, it's over. Lee Hunter will be a guy that can fill those shoes in a rotation, but I would rather see him right next to Dex. But again, you talk about two nose tackles. Could he play? He probably, yeah, he could play over the guard too. But he absolutely can play over the guard. So I like Lee Hunter. Prentice says, does Denzel Boston slip to 37? I forget. What did Denzel Boston run today? Somebody tell me real quick. I forgot what Denzel Boston ran today. Did he run a 4.52? Because he's a true 6'3", 212 pounds. I forgot what he ran. Money Mike said he needed 3 technique first for Dex. Oh, I need 3 first for Dex, is what you said. Okay. The end of last year, you might have been able to get like 2 firsts for Dex. Now you could probably get like 1 first for Dex because he had the down year. But I'm with you, man. I'm not trying to give up Dexter Lawrence. I know somebody though. I know somebody, and they still might be in the chat that is all for trading Dex, or they thought that it might be too late to trade Dex now because the value is gone. But I'll let you argue with him a little bit. No, I ain't gonna say no names. I'll let you argue with my man in a little bit. Simeon says he has to have old parents with a name like Lee. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Or he might be like Lee Hunter, the fourth or the fifth. That would make sense to me. That would make sense to me. Stephen R says Rick Woolen had trade interest from the New York Giants. Do you think we would sign him in free agency? He's a Raven Seahawk type corner. He's on my list. He's on my list for sure. Especially if we don't keep Flat, if we don't re-sign Flat, Tariq Woolen is on my list. And every time I'm doing mock drafts now, if I can't get Takario Davis, I'm looking at Ephesians Prysock in the 6th round. I like that build. I like the over tall, too tall in some cases, cornerbacks, but also that can run. Long wingspan, being able to break up passes. What is Denard Wilson looking for? Zone press corners. Somebody where you can get your hand on them first, disrupt them, no free releases, and then have your zone responsibility. And if you got a wingspan of a 7-footer, it makes a lot of sense to me. So I like Tariq Woolen. I like Takario Davis. I was happy to see him run the 4.40. I like Ephesians Prysock. I like Takario Davis a little bit more, but Prysock is good too. Dealer says I was waiting for that dash. There you go, man. You see it. He says, I talk about trading Dex because I'm more concerned with 3 or 4 years down the road. I want to bring in players that will develop over the period of time and be in their prime when his team hits the. You got no arguments for me, but at the end of the day, you know how I feel about Dexter Lawrence, man. And even though I feel a certain way about Dexter Lawrence, man, I was highly critical of Dexter Lawrence this year. Highly critical. I pointed out Dexter Lawrence was definitely overweight, and that's crazy to say Dexter Lawrence is overweight, but Dexter Lawrence, like, you can't tell me Dexter Lawrence wasn't 370 pounds this year. You can't tell me. And then he was favoring his elbow the entire season. He was out of shape. Dex was out of shape, man. I think, and also he re-injured himself. I don't care what anybody says. It seemed like he re-injured himself. So hopefully the rehab won't be as extensive this year, because he opted on not. If I'm not mistaken, he opted on not getting a surgery last year and let his elbow heal naturally, and we saw what happened. It's the same thing with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors got the and I'm going off track, I understand, but I got to talk about it because it's on my mind. Malik Neighbors got the surgery on his knee, but he did not do anything for his toe. He gonna let his turf toe heal naturally. He been dealing with turf toe since he got to LSU. And then when he got to the Giants, you got the turf toe, you got the shoulder, you got the bad back, you got the quad. Like, when you under the knife and you sleep, get all the work done if it's possible, if they recommend it, if it's okay. Do all of it. Because I'm not trying to wait for Malik Neighbors to come back with the knee. And I say this as a fan, so it's a little bit of bias, or it actually sounds a little bit greedy. But I'm not trying to see Malik Neighbors come back off the knee and then have something happen with his toe. Like, what? Should have got all that stuff fixed. Should have got it all fixed. And I don't listen. When the one thing about Malik Neighbors, like when he got the concussion and how long it took him to come back from a concussion? What was it, 3 weeks? Or it was 2 games and we were on a bye week or something crazy like that. It took him 3 weeks to come back from a concussion. I don't know. I need him healthy. Stephen R says, Dexter played injured. Y'all love to overreact. He played injured and he played heavy. Y'all saw it. Remember how Dexter Lawrence used to walk off the field this season? He was leaning to the side. Like, that's a fat man. Not good fat either. He was fat. Not good. He was retired fat. Not I'm a defensive tackle fat. Now, once again, I think he's going to come back and be fine. But we'll see what happens. Definitely don't want to trade him. Definitely need Dexter Lawrence. What John Harbaugh called him, not a cornerstone, a center stone. Definitely got to come back. Stephen R says with Harbaugh, he'll be rejuvenated. I do agree 100%. Maurice says, out of shape is no excuse. You're absolutely right. Why? Because he's a paid professional. Your job is to be in shape. Whether you play defensive tackle or not, your plan is to be able to make the plays when you're on the field. So you're absolutely right. But the man was out of shape. He couldn't breathe. He was out there huffing and puffing, man. And you saw it. It's different being 20 pounds overweight, dealing with double and triple teams than when you're 350, dealing with double and triple teams, because we saw what he was doing prior to that. But the elbow too, man. You saw he didn't even have full extension. He had that whole robotic arm and everything, man. But listen, I see y'all in the comments, excuse that. We're going to see what happens. He ain't going nowhere. We already know that. Dex ain't going nowhere. He going to be there in 2026, and we're either going to be right or wrong about him. I hope he plays well. I hope he does a good job. I think everybody thinks or hopes that he plays well and that he does a good job for the greater good. So the back and forth was hilarious. Said Dexter was out of shape. Let's not kid around. Yeah, he was out of shape. LOL says, I'm sorry. He said trade Dex comments is crazy. That guy had one bad season. Then he also said, but my prayers have been answered about Bobby Okereke. And then he says, see ya. Shout out to you, LOL. Hopefully you have a good rest of your night. What time is 8:43? I got to get out of here in a minute. I was only going to do like an hour and a half. I'm already at an hour and 40-something minutes. So we're gonna get these last bit of comments in. Shout out let me just stop for a second. Shout out to everybody vibing with me tonight. Late night Giants talk. I'm your host, Big Dash Knows. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and also like this video. If you are a New York Giants fan, if you bleed blue, like I bleed blue, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also hit that like button. I appreciate you. D-Dan says, I know the exact stance Dex has when he's exhausted. He leans and he walks off the field, but he be leaning like he's like, I don't know. I do know he's out of shape. He was out of shape. That's a fact deal. He says, well, that's the other thing about Dexter. When you play at that kind of weight, it will break you down. It would break down anyone, even at 330 pounds. That's still going to take a toll. Dexter need to get to like 340 though, because when Dexter came out of college, if you look at the combine, it's still up there. The NFL never changes your weight. No matter how many years you play in the NFL, they never change your weight from the combine weight. They got him listed at 345 pounds. That's how much he weighed at the combine. Dex ain't been 345 since the combine. I'm sorry. He been getting away with playing at 350, 360. He got all the way up to 370 last year. And this is me guessing. But if you look at Dexter Lawrence in 2025 and you look at Dexter Lawrence in 2024, that's not 10 pounds. Because usually when you're that big, when you're as big as Dexter Lawrence, you really don't notice a shift of 10 pounds unless you're losing 10 pounds. But if you're gaining 10 pounds, you saw the way his helmet fit on his head. Like, yeah, Dex was out of shape and heavy and hurt. Heavy, hurt, yeah, and exhausted. Now, Dex had a half a lean in college. Dex was like this in college. He like this now. That's the difference. That's the difference. Unless he got scoliosis. And I doubt he got scoliosis. But you see it. You see it. We ain't going to do that. Densley, we're not going to do that. We ain't going to act like that man ain't leaned over like he ain't out of shape. We're not going to do that. Come on, Densley. I like Dex too, but come on. You seen it. You seen it. Brandon says, need Carnell Tate won't be drafting this high again to get high. I hope not. But there's a lot of valuable receivers. I don't mind Tate at all. I don't mind Tate at all. Tate is third on my list. Styles down and Tate. That's where my list is right now. If Bane falls to 5, I'm looking at Bane. I like Bane a lot. Disney said the man is married to a chef. Now that's a fact. His wife is a chef. He got to have some obedience though, and some discipline to the craft. I need to listen. But also, his wife was pregnant. How much cooking was she doing? Really, you think? How much cooking you think she was doing, especially around that time? Because what she had that baby in what, September? When did we play the Chargers? It's like the week we played the Chargers because we thought he wasn't going to play against the Chargers. What was that, week 3? No, that was week 4. So it was October. He had that baby. So you listen. He knows how he can afford it. He got a bag. He can have some healthier options. He can definitely have some healthier options. Simeon said Dexter walking like one of Jerry's kids last season. That's hilarious. Well, my man Leo Luca. Shout out to my man Leo Luca in the building. I saw your comment and I lost it, man. Where you at? Shout out to my man Leo Luca in the building. He says, I think at number 5, you can make the case for a wide receiver or running. Come on now. Leo Luca, don't talk this Jeremiah Love stuff to me. That's not what we doing, Leo. We already had that understanding at the beginning of the show. We not talking no Jeremiah Love at 5, Leo. Jeremiah Love is a fantastic player. Blue chipper. Nothing against him, but the Giants can't take a running back at 5. I'm sorry. My man Corky says, thank Dad's great show as always. Now I appreciate the love and support always. You guys already know. You guys make everything fun. Wouldn't be any show without you guys for sure. The back and forth. I try to get to as many comments as possible. You guys know that, man. Try to make sure that everybody feels like they're a part of the show as much as I can. That's one of my goals too, man, because again, before I had my own channel, I was, watching other content creators in the comment section, going back and forth with people, and I, sometimes people don't read your comments. So I understand how that feels. And I try to do as much as I can. No, I promise you I do. It's a family reunion, late night Giants talk, man. It's not my show, it's our show. 100%. Ford Expedition, what's going on? He says, we need a running back. We can get Price later in. Yes, we can. We can get the other Notre Dame running back. We absolutely can. Yeah. He might go in the second. Nah, second's too high. Maybe he probably go in the third. He probably does. Stephen R. says Zay Flowers was taking 20s and made 2 Pro Bowls. Said we don't have to take a wide receiver top 10 every time. We don't. Tate is on my list, though. Tate is on my list. If I'm being absolutely honest, when I think about what the New York Giants need, the top need is absolutely is right tackle, because we don't know what's going on with Illuminor. Offensive line is a top priority for me in free agency, though. You take care of the offensive line in free agency. Give me Wyatt Teller. Give me Jermaine Illuminor back. We keep Runyon for one more year, and then you probably cut him next year, because Runyon to me might be the weakest link. I think JMS is better than Runyon. I think that Marcus Bowe is better than Runyon, but we'll see what happens. But you can't gut the entire offensive line because we're already, unsure with the whole right side. So after securing the offensive line, definitely got to address linebacker, cornerback, and then you got to get some wide receiver depth in free agency. You need to figure out who your 3rd, 4th, 5th wide receiver is going to be. And then after that, we do need to draft a wide receiver in the draft. Yeah. Maybe not at 5, maybe at 37. Maybe if we trade back in the 3rd round, 4th round, possibly. I know Malachi Fields ran a 4.6 40. So a little bit of that hype going to die down a little bit. That's going to die. And he might be a guy that might be available. So it's a couple of them out there. Dad's Life says, I feel like the 1st round wide receiver going to want to be wide receiver. Of course. But again, when you look at this, really think about this, right? The top 3 guys, Mekhi Lemon is a slot guy. He's not a wide receiver one. He's great to add to the room. He can be a great wide receiver too. Carnell Tate wasn't even a wide receiver one in college. So how do you expect him to be a wide receiver one in the NFL? But again, we're talking about Jeremiah Smith, who by any means could be the first overall pick next year. Not going to happen because, the Manning is coming out. But he's going to be probably the first non-quarterback to get drafted in 2027. And then who's the other guy? Jordan Tyson was the wide receiver one at ASU. I believe he has the best chance of being the wide receiver one for the team that he goes to. Depends on where he goes. So if he goes to the Giants, obviously he's not going to be a wide receiver one. But his ceiling is high enough for him to be the wide receiver one almost anywhere that he goes. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Whoever we take a wide receiver needs to understand Malik is him. And you're going to forever be number 2 most likely. And you know what? Knock on wood. Let's see. Wills, what's going on? Will says, don't need to cut Runyon. This is his last year. This is like, oh yeah, this 3-year contract. Perfect. He says, however, I still don't think Illuminor is worth bringing back. Tell her I would love. Is it the price for Illuminor with you, or is it just Illuminor in general? Because obviously there's some deficiencies with Illuminor. We understand that there's some weaknesses there. But is it that? Is it Illuminor, or is it the money? Let me know for sure, just so I know yet. No love for love. I got a bunch of love for love. I just can't take him at 5 for the Giants. That's crazy. For me, crazy. Dealer says Dex better for sure for our sake. It would be a shame for him to fall apart and we end up with nothing in return. You can get productive interior guys in the later rounds. You can. There's a couple of them. I like Xavier Harris out of Mississippi or Ole Miss, but he got some off the field issues. You got Jackson from Florida State, also might have some off the field issues, but I like the way that he plays, aggressive, 6'5", 337 pounds, looks like a defensive end at 337 pounds. I like Jackson. Leo Lucas says can't go wrong with the cornerback at 5. Which one are you talking about? You talking about Delane? Will says Price and his weakness in the run game. Now, that's understandable. I think they change up the blocking scheme a little bit to fit what these guys do. But we'll see what happens, man. Everybody got some weaknesses. Everybody do. Jermaine is worth $12 million, not a penny more. He doesn't play the run well enough for top dollar right tackle money. That's what a lot of people are saying. But again, the market is a market. There's so many times we've seen players, get what the market dictates and not what their actual play dictates. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, man. I'm about to wrap this thing up. I think I got all the super chats. Yes, I did. We got one more day at the Combine. Offensive line. I will be tuning in for that as well after church. Though. Got to go to church first. But yeah. So again, shout out to everybody for vibing tonight. Good episode, fantastic episode. Felt like these 2 hours went by too quickly. Might be a Wednesday night show, might not be one, but it's going to definitely be a Saturday night, late night Giants talk because that's, the schedule. Luann says, I want to re-sign Wan'Dale. Maybe he will take a pay cut. This is his first time making real money. He ain't taking a pay cut. First time getting real money. Just came off a 1,000-yard season. He trying to get the bag. Maybe the Giants give him the bag. I don't know. Possibly. C. Barkley says, have you heard rumors of us drafting? Yeah, we talked about it. I think it's smoke. I think it's a smoke screen to try to see if we can make that number 5 pick more valuable for a trade back. Because they talked about Jeremiah Love having interest with the Giants, or Giants having interest in Jeremiah Love, and they also keep pushing the Kenneth Walker and the New York Giants agenda as well. So they definitely want the people around the league to feel like the New York Giants have a chance of taking a running back at 5. And I think it's a smokescreen. I absolutely think it's a smokescreen just so we can make it valuable and trade back. But again, I'm just a guy on YouTube talking about my favorite team. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. Let's go.